This Dark Wolf series podcast is brought to you by Bravo Company Manufacturing.
I need 2 shooters for a time-sensitive op. I'm offering you a chance to finish what you started and to keep your brothers from danger.
If we do this,
eyes and ears in position.
I need to know that you can find the brakes.
You have my word.
You do not have to carry this weight alone.
RPG! The only way out is right through it.
What drew you to Ben in the first place? So when you first got the script, and did you read for it with Pratt?
No, it was an offer.
Okay.
My manager, who I've been with for 23 years now, hit me up and she was like, okay, good people, Navy SEAL. And I'm like, uh-oh. Fuqua, great book, CP, DiGilio, it's going. And then I was like, okay, let me read it. I was always, ever since Murphy, I've been apprehensive to go back into that world. You know, it's like you feel you've done the pinnacle of it, kind of, in a way, you know, true story, obviously, and the legacy that guy and that team had. But I will say it was such a different take. And as you know, these team guys are just so different. All different ethnicities, socioeconomic backgrounds, upbringings, parents, no parents, all that kind of stuff. So that for me was huge. Just such a different look at it, and a totally different scope. And then it went down to the meeting, to be honest, of Fuqua, Dave, and then you and I going back and forth, and obviously CP in that meeting. But once I had the script, it was more of like, if you can give me this leash and this like creative, not full control, obviously, but like I feel I can really make this guy something very individual, very different than what we've seen. And after that meeting, man, and talking to you came at me through an email, if I remember correctly, of like, hey, let me know what you want. If you want all this information I have on Edwards, if you want none, I'm standing by. And then we went back and forth a few times, and I said, like, let me take a swing at this guy before I engage. And you're all ears, man. So credit to the whole team of just being like, take it and run, and we'll manipulate it where we see fit and what works. And I mean, I think that first meeting collaboratively, knowing that everyone's got your back and to take risks and make this like something no one's seen before, because we all know these SEAL shows are out there and authenticity is massive for all of us. Mendoza was a big thing for me because he trained me on Lone, True Detective. I love that guy. So he was texting me when I was figuring out if I want to do it or not. He's like, why aren't you signing on yet?
Nice.
And then, of course, like the kid in me of like, I grew up running around in the trails in the wilderness, playing gun army, like chasing buddies with fucking paintball guns and doing all that. And then it's like, man, Lone or True, I never touched a shotgun. So there's the scared part of that of like, man, give me an M4, give me a pistol. I feel very comfortable with because of Mendoza. But now we're working with this shotgun. And so I had this rental house in just off in Santa Monica when we were shooting. And Ray brought over his shotgun and all these casings for me to do combat reloads. So no joke, I had a few buddies that were staying with me here and there during the shoot, and they'd be tripping and stepping on these these shells on the floor. Yeah. So I would sit on the couch, watch hockey, whatever it is, and just be sitting there doing reload after reload after reload. And then I'd send videos to Mendoza, and he'd be like, "You're still shit. Keep going."
Oh man,
But that's
people
what
bring
makes
shotgun to
you,
me all the time.
yeah,
They talk
yeah.
about shotgun, how good it looks. Like nobody has said anything bad about the shotgun work. Like
I mean,
everyone
and we
just
all know the critics out there, right? So that was a big win. And on the day, it's got to be such a piece of you. It's
yeah.
such a connection to you. You can't even think about it. So
10 seconds. Ready. Moving.
I love that rain sequence with CP going through that. That was fucking awesome.
Moving.
That was cool. Most people don't know that you took a spill in that one. Like you went down hard enough where we're like, oh,
I
this
know.
might.
And then I went to the hospital, and I think it was just a bone bruise, which
Yeah, but it looked
fucking
bad.
hurt. Yeah, man.
Looked bad.
I remember I had to wrap the foot real good because I didn't want to take it out of the boot.
Bro, you good?
Fuck yeah! Plate hit! Move! Yeah, so what happened was we were coming out of that house and the tracks for the dolly were right there. And Mendoza, to his credit, was doing safety of just like, I don't know if I like how close this dolly is. And I greenlit it. And I was like, man, I should be fine. And then lo and behold, I'm in a gunfight and hammer that track and went
Yeah.
down pretty good.
You fought through it. We filmed the rest
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
memory singers. Like you fought through it. Like you acted fine through
Yeah.
it. And at the cut or whatever, it was like, oh, this is not like, this is we might have to like write this in to the rest
Yeah.
because
And I remember it's right before Ben took some to the plate, two to the plate or one to the plate there. And then
right.
CP comes over around the corner. God, I remember this like yesterday. And
That's awesome.
I think Ben says like good plate or something like that. I'm good. Keep
Yeah.
going. Fuck you. And then he goes and gets his guy and then does that epic sequence in the warehouse and literally tears his guts out while Ben is on watch.
Yeah. Which is one that they weren't really excited for us to shoot that scene.
No, that was a battle.
And we got it, and we got then it became the on every billboard in LA during that month of drop back in
And tip of the hat to Fred Toy, our director, who's one of my favorite directors in this series, man. I love that guy. I brought him on season on Dark Wolf. He did 1, 2, and a little bit of 7 with Paul, who's fucking great. But we've lucked out with directors too. Really have.
So like now we have
Spoiled.
our pool of directors now, and they're just
Dialed.
awesome. Excited for what we can do going forward here.
Yeah. And then, of course, a huge point of signing on was the end.
Ben. It's fucking you.
Of like, obviously I've gotten people sometimes in the street of like, how could you do that? I mean, I won't go too deep into it, but it's like that scene. I remember like Mendoza, Shazi, there's so much pressure on that scene, the end scene on the boat, right? The reveal. And I love that pressure. I really do. I live for it. And I think to root that was the hardest thing. And for me to come at that on so many different ways of trying to figure out that key to get into that and understand how somebody could do it. Um, that was the challenge on the actor standpoint, on the storytelling standpoint. I'm not making this a Scooby-Doo moment, of like mwahaha, and then I yeah. But it was
Yeah.
a beautiful night. I remember shooting that. And I do
Mhm.
remember the pressure. Like even Mendoza like came at me and we were like on the range with the shotgun and he's like, "So what are you gonna do in that scene?" And I'm like, I give this stereotypical like actor. I'll be like, I'll be in the moment. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, there's like that pressure that as that scene goes, that season went. And I love that challenge. And I still stand by it, very biasly, but I still stand by those choices that we all made collectively. And DeGilio, I remember that we had been in like a really nice boat, staying in like a really nice place when you saw him, when we cut back to him, of where some of this money that he got and what he was doing. And I said it was a massive point for me. And Dave was all ears. It took him like a day or two to wrap his head around it. But I was like, I don't want Ben to spend a nickel of this money because it's never been about money. Because then you break him down to just this materialistic guy, and that's not who he is. So I don't want a brand new sailboat. I want the same sailboat that he kind of grew up going on and traveling on, and he did. And those little transition moments for Ben and his character are massive. So that was a big point too.
Admiral swore you were already dead. Said you and the boys had tumors. And I thought, let them die with their fucking boots on. Rather than in some hospital bed.
Amazing. I remember that last night, Terminalist. It was one of the last nights we filmed for the whole season. I think we went down to the beach and we had a couple things we had to pick up at the beach the next night or the night
Yeah,
after. But it was essentially the end of the show. And I remember most of the time on set, like we could just talk like we're talking now, and then they'd say, like, Taylor, we need you, and you're like, okay, boom, and you're in it. And same thing with Pratt, same thing, like joking around, whatever, hanging out, and then oh, it's time to go, boom, and you're in it.
yeah,
I don't know how you guys do that. It's crazy. It's very similar to actually like when I'm going on a news show when you do like your quick 2 minute spot and then
yeah. God, you got to be on, man.
but then you're talking to the host or whatever, and then it comes back on, and they're like, and they're doing so many different like let's say like a CBS Evening News type of a thing where they're covering 15 stories in 30 minutes with 2 or 3 commercial breaks in there, and they have to be thinking about all of that, and yeah, it's
Yeah,
on a they're fine, but not when they're interviewing you really
yeah.
like, and it's really cool, but and people are they're very good at that just like and like you guys it's similar in that you're talking but on that night it was not like that. It was very different on set for that final scene, and you and
Oh
Chris were
man, you're talking the boat.
both, yeah, most of the time on set it's like well, that night was very different. You and Chris went to your corners, you were both like internalizing what had to happen here because both as characters and then also as friends now, like you had to have this heavy scene together. And that was
Yeah,
really cool for me to watch and note the difference between some of the other scenes when you're like
yeah,
in a burrito or
yeah,
whatever
yeah, yeah, yeah.
conversations and all that stuff. And what it's like between takes for those scenes, this was very different. And you guys, yeah, to your corners and then boom, into the boat. And it was you I
Pin
mean, you guys
drop.
put on set, but it was a different kind of quiet on set when they
God, I live for those moments, man. I think me personally, it's like it's such an enormous amount of energy for the emotional stuff. You're always if it's not there, you don't play it. That's who I am as an actor. If it's there, let it rip. And it just takes an enormous amount of energy to be in that moment, take after take after take. And we shot a bunch because we knew how important it was. So every take, to your point, you're in that corner reloading, no pun intended. It's like just emotionally just going, okay, relax, breathe, be as relaxed as you can so you have that your ability to pull. So I live for those moments, man.
It's okay. Let's finish the list.
That was so cool to watch, and it was so powerful on screen, and we were making adjustments to that
Yeah.
dial like all the way
Yeah.
like the end, because we didn't quite have it. It was like it was somewhere there in the script, but wasn't quite
Yeah.
there. We're like focused on okay, episode 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, and then we started inching closer to this final episode, and we're actually going to film the final scene essentially at the same time linearly, and then we started like okay, get a little close. Just got to tweak this. Why is Ben? What would make Ben do this type of a thing?
Yeah.
What you brought to the character. I mean, I've said this so many different times, and but man, I mean, so much better than I had it in the book. Oh my goodness. I wish I had taken like your performance and like put it
Yeah.
into the book afterwards somehow, like a
Yeah.
novelization or something. Because in the book, he's just so like, one-dimensional or whatever. But you brought such depth and compassion and empathy to this character. And I can't imagine anybody else doing that. They
Thanks.
told me you signed on. I was like, or in the running or whatever. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is Ben, like
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
There's that
But thank you. I want to
humanity,
thank you. Actually,
right?
I want to thank you for doing that.
Oh
Thank you so
man,
much.
it's been nothing but a pleasure to be honest. I've loved it. And it's opened so many doors to the team guys, and I just love that world so much. And there's so much to explore, and the humanity, I think at the end of all of this trumps everything. The action, all of it, and that's what you focus on, or my route to who Ben is. So I've loved it, man. I mean, it goes even to Dark Wolf season 1, like in all of our calls of like, Kitsch, what do you want to do? Carr, where do you see this guy going? Like, where do we want to take Ben? And the beauty of Ben is he's such a wild card that you can kind of take him fucking anywhere,
Yeah.
and you see slowly that it's chipping away at that metal. And I love that. I
Mm.
think we did a great job in Dark Wolf about that. I mean, all the way to the last line, where it goes over his memory of like, this isn't a guy that's just numb to losing family, losing teammates, losing his own cause, and second guessing his own self. And like, that's what matters. And that's what I see with some of my closest SEAL mates of like, that's the story I want to tell. Because honestly, you can make a lot of fucking guys look good with a gun, and we have that in spades. But I think what differentiates the show is that we have a pulse on the cost of it all. So that's so important to us or me especially, to serve. Yeah. So
Let's finish the list. So let's try to stop.
Whoever set us up, we need to find him.
What's the play?
It might come down to me to make it right.
Brother, that is God's hand kind of shit.
I want him to know who's come for him.
What are we fighting for when we step on that battlefield? We fight for each other.
Report!
And I want to tip the hat quick to Cox too. When we do get that trident taken, man, he was fucking great. And I didn't have to act at all because it was just, you felt the stakes.
Uh-huh.
It was beautiful. And to do that, like Mendoza walked us through that. And that's to people out there, myself included, that don't know that process of getting your bird taken, like we did it, like that's how it's done. So that's really cool and authentic. That for me, it's like no acting required, man. Look around, this is what's happening. And to feel that bird get taken off is no joke. So
you've broken that trust.
that was another great scene I'll never forget.
Yeah, well, before that, you guys in the room together, and your blow up is insane. It's so great.
I had that. That's probably one of my favorite. This was in prep. I remember being on a Zoom sitting in this seat talking about that scene. And I'm like, let me just fucking go off.
We train these men to stand up where we stand down, while ISIS is strapping bombs to their fucking legs. That's what matters, Chief.
This goes so far back, Carr. One of the SEALs that trained me for loan, Chris Karachi, amazing guy. Deepest voice, man's man, full Manchu, really, really took me under his wing. Like a man's man. And I consider myself like a guy's guy, but this guy he's an incredible human. He would fucking sit in the back of the truck, and in loan, I get my hat is gone as I'm going down the cliff, and he would tie my hat. I'd have like 5 or 6 stunt hats and all that. He would do seal knots in every one of my hats and just sit there with all my wardrobe and make it perfect. Without asking, like he just cared so much, and he really was a huge influence on me with the live fire and stuff. Really great man. Anyways, so I remember these guys talking about rules of engagement on doing live fire in Santa Fe. And then I have another great friend of mine who's a EOD guy, who is Luttrell's team leader in Ramadi, or in Iraq too. In that, I don't know exactly where, but he had both Luttrells under his wing. And he's like a dear friend of mine. He's a walking movie, by the way. His stories are fucked. He was in Mendoza's. He was down the block when Mendoza was going through his movie. He was on the same op. And anyways, he had a lot of guys under him, and he would sometimes get into our rules of engagement and just the brass and just all the shit you got to go through and the paperwork and all this fucking shit. And it just compiled for like years of all this stuff, of hearing all these guys talk about the hoops you got to go through before and after an op and all this kind of stuff, and stuff they wanted to do on the day but couldn't because of ROE. And so I was like, man, I'm going to take all this fucking energy and I'm going to give it to this CIA guy. And so that's where that came from, of just like, I'm speaking on behalf of Paul, Luttrell, Mendoza, Shaw, all these guys that have gone through the shit. And I'm like, let me fucking have a go at this guy.
This fucking waste of oxygen you're letting walk. Fuck you and fuck you.
Ben, that is enough.
You go tell my men what you just fucking told me. You got the balls for that? I'll fucking wait.
That was my first day in Budapest, and I was so fucking jet lagged, and I was like hammering coffee, and no one knew I was gonna go so hard. In rehearsals, I call them practice players. I'm not a guy who shows all my cards in rehearsal. I don't want you to get numbed out if you and I are in a scene and I'm fucking at you, or we're supposed to whatever. So in rehearsal, I'm quite robotic and I'm just hoarding the energy. And then the first take, I just went off.
What's he give you a little fucking intel and you guys give him immunity? Is this how this
That's
fucking
enough,
works?
Brother, you were a fucking lapdog.
I remember Hemsworth just kind of being like, oh, okay, this is where we're going with this scene. And Chris, who played the CIA leader, team guy, whatever you want to title him, but he's fucking great too. Great actor. And then Cox too. It was a great scene, man. That one meant a lot to me. So,
Commander, let's fucking go. Please.
Walk away.
it was for all those guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
So powerful. Then we get to link up with LaMonica at the UFC.
Yeah, he's such a great guy, man. And what an animal. Like, ridiculous.
Yeah, crazy.
I remember CP was like throwing this book. He's like, hey, man, you want to go do a team workout? We'll bring like Sean, these guys, and Hop. Hop is an animal as well, obviously. But I'm like, yeah, I'll come for a workout. I go and we're doing this boxing. I boxed like for 20 years, feel confident and blah, blah, blah. And I look over, LaMonica is shirtless. Like, fuck, I don't even know what he was lifting, the gym. And I was like, what is happening? He just is jacked and a great guy. He really cares. And he was asking Mendoza tons of questions on the big days. But talk about, like, I think with our show, you'll see it with me or with Dar or Hemsworth. When you get your moment, everyone just chews it up and kills it. And LaMonica's in that category. Like, when you have your monologue, when you have your moment, we're teeing it up for you, and everyone just took the reins and ran with it. So that, I think, too, differentiates the show.
So good. So good.
Yeah, it's so good.
You're not just taking some bird off a man's chest. You're stripping him of his soul.
So it was a beautiful kind of moment of humanity with these guys of, you know, you got your whole fucking team out there doing the song and dance, which gave me chills even on the 10th take.
Chief Edwards!
Chief Edwards!
Lieutenant Hastings!
Thank you.
You see what you're leaving behind. And the honor that those guys still love you, was still say goodbye in that way, I wasn't ready for either. That was beautiful. That was really cool. The sign off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. So those moments are like really cool surprises. In prep, I never had this moment on the helicopter to be emotional. Never. When I was prepping it, I never had that as like, it's a question mark, or I felt he was just numbed out and he's gonna just fucking go. But you know what happened? We got in that, and the beauty of our show is that we fucking actually were in a helicopter and flew off base, which the kid in me is like, God damn, this is cool. I remember having that moment with CP with the book, which is funny, Bigfoot's dick. And then
Scale.
yeah, the scale. Oh man. I think I improvised that too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In the script. That's fantastic.
Just so you know, that's the scale.
And then I hand them my bag over and get in. We all go through safety, of course, before we get in. I get clipped in, and there's a camera. I think Kenny was on a tight on me. And then I watch the Rafe CP moment.
Watch out for our boy!
And then Rafe sat down across from me on the other seat. And I was like, it really just fucking went through a wave of me of just like, wow, I fucked this guy's life over, didn't I? Like, because I was so focused on Ben and prep of what this means. But to have that moment with Rafe of understanding that this guy's going through the same shit, but probably worse. He's got this family that he's accountable to, the honor system through his family and everything that I took, through that one decision, emotional decision. You're seeing the repercussion of not just me, but Rafe. So that was a beautiful surprise of like I said earlier, if it's there, let it go.
This Q&A is brought to you by Staccato. I believe this is from Facebook also, from Shelley Botnick-Gretton. And she says, can you please thank the cast of Dark Wolf for me? And I shall. I know I posted this before, but when they took Ben and Rafe's tridents, it made me so sad. I can't imagine what it would make the SEALs feel like in real life when that happens. I've been touched by so much of your story. I am so glad we get to know the story behind Ben. Taylor Kitsch knocked it out of the park with his performance. Yes, he did. And she asked, is it hard for you not to want to be in more scenes? So I feel fortunate that I get to be in any scenes at all. So I got to be in 2 of them this time around, and I got to be in 2 because my scene in the tunnel in episode 4, that one was pretty short. It was supposed to be a little longer, but it was a oneer. So that means you have a camera that's like moving. Everything is timed out. There's a gunfight going on, a little explosion, all sorts of stuff happening, but it's a oneer shot. And it was like 1 second off when it got to me, so I wasn't on camera that much, which I was fine with. It was still amazing and so cool to get shot down again. This time I got out of the car. So in the terminal list, I have a shootout with Chris Pratt in episode 3, in the beginning of episode 3.
You okay, buddy? I didn't see this.
I did have to tell Chris that in real life, if that happened, it would go down a little differently, but beside the point. I don't even get out of the car. I get stitched up, boom, go over. You got to hold your breath because I can't see your chest going. Chris leans across me and he's going through a bag or stuff on the seat next to me. And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Chris, hurry up. But I didn't get out of the car. This time, I got out of the car in Dark Wolf, episode 4. So that's my cameo, but it was so quick. They're like, oh, we want to get you in there another time. And I said, well, I can shave my beard, do a goatee, a mustache, dye my hair, whatever is going to work for the show. And they said, no, just keep your look. We'll have you as a security guard at the CIA at the end. So in episode 7, that final episode, you can see me take the badge from Jed Haverford, played by Robert Wisdom, who's an amazing guy. Sir. So I got to do that, and I hadn't been back to the CIA in a number of years, and the last time I was there was in a completely different capacity, obviously. So it was nice to be back there, and it was so special for us to be able to film there in the lobby with that memorial wall, and it was really moving for everybody that got to be a part of it. So huge thank you to the CIA for letting us film there. It was really, really special.
When we're writing the scripts for Dark Wolf, we had a whole shotgun sequence, and I forget where, because there were so many different iterations of all the episodes, and I forget what it was. I think it was fighting through a train with a shotgun.
Yeah,
I think that was like an early script, and a lot of things budgetary wise.
Yeah,
just that's how it goes, and when you're doing these things. But that would have been cool to get something like that back in Ben's hands. So
yeah,
in 2, I think we're gonna have to somehow get a shotgun going again, because it was so associated with your character from Terminal season 1.
I got a bit of hit back from because the only time I have the shotgun is when I break through that glass with Rona Lee and your epic death scene, which, by the way, I was a little upset I didn't get to fucking put you down.
No, we should have done that. We should have done a little spin. It was like the oneer, right? Because we didn't have too many options.
You came out of the car, and who puts you down? Is it Hemsworth?
Yeah.
Fucking guy.
I know.
We're gonna change that for Dark Wolf 2 if we get to go, man. We're gonna change that. I gotta drown you, or we gotta have some kind of.
That'd be awesome. I can shave like that, or a creepy mustache, or so totally clean. Like, because I kept the beard for the 2 cameos in Dark Wolf, the one out of in the tunnel, and then at the end at CIA headquarters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For True Believer, I have another little death sequence there, which is pretty sick.
Sweet.
But yeah, maybe hands on. That's the way to up it. Is do a
Let's
hands
do a
on.
little hand to hand.
That would be awesome. I gotta get in shape. Man,
Yeah.
I'm still behind from my last year getting back in shape for like, it was like August, I guess, through the end of
Yeah, you were on fire there for a bit.
for a minute. And then
Pull
I
ups in the
realized that
snow.
I didn't have the book done and I wasn't that far and it was just good.
Yeah, homework.
Yeah. So
The homework overruled
back to
that.
yeah,
Let's do a little hand to hand or something.
killer. Just put my head in
Yeah.
like a hole or something in the jungle or like at the beach or like in a something. Just that'd be awesome. Oh, I think that's the way to up it. Because
We gotta do it.
So I think the way because it gets pretty it's pretty like helicopters are involved blowing up
Yeah.
Range Rover.
Yeah.
All this stuff. So I think we need to take it back down to primal. Like
Yeah, man. That's the best.
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But get to ride a motorcycle in this one.
Yeah,
People,
thank God.
Really you.
You and I were like, Ben needs a motorcycle.
Knobby tires. We need like, hey, we need to change
Yeah.
knobbies on there. Need this, that, the other.
Credit
So-
to Max Adams for making that work because he's like, hey, sir, what do you think about this bike? And I'm like, Max, when do we shoot? He's like, tomorrow. And I'm like, shit, can we get knobbies on it? He's like, yeah. And then I'm like, sick. And he did. And it made
That's
that
great.
bike look badass. And then I remember getting upset at Dave because I leave it at the subway.
Tall, movie dish. Sit rep.
When I go down into the subway and kill that guy, and I'm like, man, we can't just have Ben on. We got to keep this bike around. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
Dish, coming to you.
Eyes on the Tango. In one line, eastbound platform.
Yeah. And then I got the Triumph in 7 in the last epi. And then the BMW, of course, with Rona Lee. That was fun, man. I love it. So we got to have more of that in Dark Wolf 2, for sure.
Shotgun and motorcycles.
Yeah.
Sure.
And drown you.
Yeah, there'll be what we're filming is more close to the oceans and all that. I mean, it's an ocean centric season.
Yeah.
If we want to take it. We should have plenty of opportunity to get in a maritime environment. So that'd be killer.
We got to do it.
Let's do that. The motorcycles, which are awesome. What's the train sequence also? End of episode 3, like we just mentioned with the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Different way too. And then I think it's
you were in Budapest for that meeting, remember?
I know. I was here.
Or were you zoomed in or something?
Zoomed in on a bunch of them talking about it. And then I think day of, like, you are like, hey, I don't think Ben would do it like this. Ben would do it like that. I need to Benify it. Is that right?
Yeah.
Benify it. And you did, and it's awesome.
Yeah.
But it was originally going to be like
a knife fight,
almost like a John Wick type knife fight. It didn't sit quite right with you, and that's why it's so valuable. Like everything you're bringing to this character, because when I look at this point, most of the all of the writers except for me, Dave, Max, and Jared are gone. Like writers' room are on to other projects, and it's just like back to this core group. But the EPs and us that are EPs and writers are also thinking about all these other things.
Yeah.
We're in that scene, this character, and it takes you to be like, I don't think Ben would do it like this. Ben would do it this way. And that's what we do. And that's the right answer. And that's amazing. It's so cool.
But credit to you guys for listening and being like, okay, pitch it. And then it goes into what we're all doing all the time is problem solving. Because I say to Dave, I'm like, man, let me just I have this pistol. Let me fucking put him down, sit, have that moment. Who's Max Adams' daughter, by the way, which is awesome. I love that. That's another humanizing moment that this guy is looking at a kid and has to do this in front of a fucking child, but still does it. But yeah, so I pitched that, and Dave, to his credit, starts problem solving. He's like, well, would he do that? It's like in broad daylight, public. There's CCTV TV cameras all over, and I'm like, let me fucking mumble to Shiraz that to turn him off. And he's like, he thinks about it for like 10 seconds. He's like, let's do it. Okay, you got to get that line in there. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it when I sit down, no problem. He's like, all right, let's go.
So, I want you to kill every CCTV camera on the M1 line. Now.
Copy. CCTV is down. You're clear.
It was awesome.
So we did it. And then Shazi, that's a quick draw. So I have footage. My best friend, we went on a bike trip to the Dolomites after that because we had 2 weeks off.
Yeah, you did miss by like a couple days.
You missed an epic ride, by the way.
I know. I saw the pictures.
I know. Yeah. And Shazi was teaching me that quick draw. Because it's one thing to obviously, go through a room, blah, blah, blah. It's just the handling's a little different, and you got to be insanely efficient, speed wise, and still look good and controlled. So, God, I did so many reps of that. But I think we only did 2 takes of that, and we got it. I love that moment. And then he comes out onto the that crazy square.
Yeah, whatever that square is called. But yeah, that's like a huge tourist attraction for Budapest, and there you are walking through it.
Yeah,
I love that scene.
And the beauty of that action sequence is it serves Rafe's. It's a harder serve for Rafe, and it helped him be like, man, you're losing your shit. You're fucking killing guys in broad daylight. And then Ben's rebuttal is, we got the intel, didn't we? It worked. We wouldn't be closer if I didn't do that. So it helped Rafe's character as well to see his friend kind of be more unhinged, which I like.
But now we're planning a convoy hit in an allied country based off a single source intel. That's flag 1.
We wouldn't have got that intel
Flag
unless
2.
I did what I did.
You are forgetting everything you learned in the teens. Back in Budapest, you walked onto a subway car alone to ice an enemy you didn't even know.
Yeah, no, that was fat. That's such a cool scene. And then we get to the next episode with the tunnel sequence, and but once again, you're taking heavy because you went right into this show from American Primeval.
Yeah.
Where you also got beat up pretty good.
Yeah.
And no time off to recover.
7 days.
7 days. And then stepping onto our set where you body armor, this, that, boom, blowing up gates, going in.
No.
The whole thing. And now you have to run over and over again through this cobblestone tunnel.
Yeah, I just got that bone cut out of the foot. And then Kenny Acam was on the 4-wheel. He gets strapped in and he's pulling me on the steady. And then that fucking cobblestone. If you're on a hunt or anytime you could be on a hike or whatever, I don't like the side hilling. It fucks with my knees when you're side hilling on a mountain because your foot and everything's just so uneven, right? That's cobblestone, man. And you're running, sprinting for your life. You're obviously not looking down, and it's so uneven. And I remember catching those ruts in there and getting, the pain in that foot And I became a little brat for about 30 minutes, and I had to ice that thing to do another one.
Fuck!
You were tough. That was
was
rough.
a day, man. That was a day. And then like the improvised moments, you were there, where I throw the smoke down because I didn't have smoke. And then Shazi's like, you're throwing smoke now with Dar when Dar gets shot, Mo. And I was like, okay, show me how to do it. Let's go. I remember doing it in Lone, but that was so long ago. And again, to your guys' credit, it's like, here's how you do it. You better fucking do it right.
Yeah, that was
this
awesome.
is the oneer.
Yeah.
Fuck. Landry on extra! Cop! Inbound! Smoke! Move! Get in the car, let's go! Roll out! Landry, move! Move!
Yeah, exactly. You got it. That was so awesome. We did it a couple times, I think.
Yeah.
And we couldn't use one for some reason that had like a lot of the best smoke we couldn't use for some reason, if I remember correctly. It still looks amazing. No one would ever know that there were two different ones. One had like the wind blew it like perfect. Something happened and we couldn't use that for some reason, but but all your throws were awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
Cool. That's a great.
I love that stuff. Like nothing puts you in the moment because you're technically checking boxes, right? Getting all your gun work right, the smoke, whatever it is, your calls, and then you're in the moment with a teammate who's just got shot and you got to extract them. So it's like, I love those moments where it's like, you don't have too much time to overthink shit. You're just going. And that's the beauty of that kind of stuff. Like all that action stuff, you dying in the tunnel, I love shooting out the window with Rona Lee, go, 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 or jackpot in the van.
Yeah.
Jackpot. Great fucking job, everyone.
Copy. Jackpot.
It's so technical, but I love that stuff, man.
And originally, I think it was written for a longer tunnel. I think we had a full-on idea of it, like weaving through this whole thing. And then once again, you have to get to an area, then situation, terrain dictate, okay, how we're going to use this location, and just adapt the scene to it. And it was awesome. But you have a betrayal at the end of that one.
Oh.
And what was that? I mean, what was that like to think through? We thought through a bunch of different ways also, like what's she gonna do? Stab him with a syringe type of a thing, or shoot him, or do something, and we, or hit him on the back of the head, or blah blah. We went back and forth, but I think it plays the way it plays out is fantastic, and no one saw that coming.
I need fucking magazines.
Oh, I remember reading that the first time and I called DiGilio up and I was like, holy shit, cliffhanger, man. That may be one of the best ones of the entire series.
Sorry, Ben.
Obviously, selfishly, it rubbed me. And I was like, man, would Ben, you're doing this to Ben and he's already taken such a beating and now she's just shot him in the back. And I remember asking you, which informed how I started the next episode in so much pain, of what that would mean of taking those shots to the plate. And you broke it down and helped me. And you're like, minimum broken ribs, minimum your back is fucked, minimum hard to walk. And he's like, and I was like, oh, good. Now I know what I can play. But you'd be like, you're really fucked up. Yeah. And then of course it goes to the hostel where he throws her against the wall and fucking loses it on her.
You move, I will fucking bury you.
Of like who she's working with, which is another great little scene.
Who are you working for?
Ben.
Who?
And it flips that whole relationship.
Who else are you working with?
Just because I had my own assignment doesn't mean I betrayed the team.
And that took so many turns too, doing the hostile stuff. I love that. Like I kept pushing to have her as the body armor and no gun.
No weapons. Vest only.
And I love that.
Yeah.
That you got to earn that trust back. Otherwise you kind of lose faith in Ben.
Give me a gun, pirate.
That whole sequence is gnarly.
Fuck. Crash!
Oh man, we were shooting. I don't know if you were there that day, but
Oh, it wasn't ever hostile.
when I got by the way, as you know, everyone got so sick. That was fucked up. Our crew was decimated.
They got to take a day off, right? Do we have to move the schedule?
Yeah, we took an insurance day, I think. And then with the scene where I'm gonna jump, but it's where Ben is pulling the shrapnel out with the glue and the alcohol. I love those kind of scenes, man. And we shot it like broad daylight in this bathroom in downtown Budapest, and there's a children's park connected to it. So I go in there and we have all the cameras set up, and I look out and I'm like, there's kids on a swing set, not extras. These are people, we didn't have control over that.
And you're pulling
and I'm like screaming fuck and all this kind of shit, pulling this shrapnel out of my leg. And then I come out and I'm like, oh, there's children right here. I don't know if that was PG enough, but so that was just
different language.
Yeah, totally. I love that scene too.
But the way 5 ends and the music that goes with 5 ends as you're limping down the street.
Yeah, with the case. That fucking case, man. I'm gonna bitch for 10 seconds. Me doing the gun work and the stunt work with that case. Oh my, like, I remember like stunties showing me the sequence and I'm like, okay, well, where's the case? And they're like, oh, we haven't added the case. And I'm like, dude, add the case. It's a whole different, you feel it's so cumbersome, and it's this fucking strap, and then it's always moving forward and your gun work changes. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking bury this case when we're done this.
I do remember this. Oh man.
Yeah. Little things you don't think about, right?
That plays so well. Interesting with the cases I saw in at the end of True Believer, at the end of the filming anyway. I think it comes a little bit before the end episode, but there's just a bag that Pratt has to like unzip and zip, and it was a thing. Like trying to do, I think he's on the phone while he's like supposed to say like what's in this thing or whatever, and then zip it back up. So he's juggling the phone, doing the lines, and the zipper's like catching. Like he has to do this turn of this because it's like a duffel bag, but there's a turn that the zipper has to take.
Yeah.
And it wasn't cooperating. It wasn't like you needed your other hand to like hold it to pull it.
Keep it taut.
It was just not happening. So I think he has a similar bag experience from.
I know, us whiny actors, people are watching, being like, oh, did you have to work on a bag while on the phone? Was that a tough day for you? But yes, it was.
I could, yeah, it's a thing now. And, now I kind of get it because I did filmed a documentary this last September and then December also. It's hasn't been announced yet. It's on terrorism. And
wow.
Started, but I have to interview these people, but it's a documentary. So I'm interviewing experts on terrorism but you're essentially getting direct. There's a director, and they're like, "Hey, can you say it more like this?" Or when I have to point it like a map, and they have to trace my hand of like where the terrorists went in Austria to do this thing in the 70s and all this, and getting directed like, "No, keep your hand like this,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
thing's moving," and so I kind of get it. I kind of get it now. It's like
It's sometimes it's so technical that it's just about the shot, and you're a pawn.
Yeah, that's kind of how you. I'm just like, okay, just
You're
remain
the
calm.
puppet. Shut up and put your hand out of the light. In the
Exactly.
light. Little left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love how that one ends. And I love the song. All the songs throughout this
Yeah,
thing.
great.
It was incredible.
Our opening sequence, I loved.
When I was young.
Yeah,
So
Max
good.
killed that.
So good.
The song is fucking great.
What I say.
Yeah, it all works with Ben. It's Ben's, your show, it's Ben's show. It's like so different from Terminal List. Like you have that total difference. And it's so good.
This Q&A is brought to you by Huxworks. This is from John on X at JRobinson528, who picked the music for the show. I thought the soundtrack was great. Yes, the needle drop was awesome. Of course, we have Ruth Barrett, who does the score, and then we have this needle drop. And those came from different people, whether they were the actors or producers or other people involved in the show. And really, James Reese is more outlaw country. So we wanted to use the music to differentiate this show from The Terminal List, season 1. And so Ben is more classic rock. Simple Man is his anthem. And Taylor Kitsch likes AC/DC. So we got a little AC/DC in there, little Hell's Bells in that episode 1. And then Max Adams wanted that Metallica in there.
Grab his phone, return to base.
I should say that Jared Shaw, we've talked about it a couple times, I think, in different podcasts. Jared Shaw, my buddy from the SEAL teams, who is responsible for all of this because he gave Chris Pratt the book before it was even out on shelves, and is also Boozer in the show, and is an executive producer and a writer and a technical advisor. He was the touch point for Simple Man. So Simple Man got in there, and it's also in season 1. If you listen closely, it introduces Ben Edwards' character.
Heard a rumor you're flying in tonight, so.
That's in there. And then we have David DiGilio, showrunner. He's a big fan of Pink Floyd, so we got that in there at the end. And that pairs so well with that action in that final episode, episode 7 of Dark Wolf. It just crushes. We also have an amazing music supervisor, Kevin Edelman, who goes out there, licenses the music from the artists and suggests tracks, and he's just a master. So we have him, and Josh Menard also, who's a music editor and puts all this together. So hats off to those guys. And the Ben sound is a big differentiator between the shows. So that was extremely important as we went into this.
I'm not here for watch. I'm leaving.
You and Rafe at episode 6.
Oh, yeah.
So at night,
damn,
boat, like was that a heavy one too? Is that like?
Yeah, that was a huge one because we started in, I think, is it 6 in season 1, where I'm like, I say one line that like rips Rafe, like, oh, I'm surprised he actually came through with the guns.
A motherfucker came through.
When I opened that case, and I'm like, oh, motherfucker actually did it.
Shit. Damn. Rafe really came through.
What's the note say? Wishes us both good luck.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that went into that one. One, we obviously knew that scene was coming up, but 2, Rafe and I are good friends, and there's so much trust. There's like CP and I to the boat scene in the end of season 1, but like we're hanging out playing fucking padel in Budapest, going to dinner, going to Greek food all the time, ordering on set, blah, blah, blah. But like once in a while, we'll clock in and talk about that scene. And a lot of the times it's like, you feel good, I feel good. And then it's like, hey, I'm going to push you. And he's like, push me, let's go. So it's both of us kind of combative, but the trust is everything in those scenes.
Stay and fight. With me. It's the wrong fight, but stay and fight.
I honestly think the first 3 takes it were on fire. Like we came in ready and hot, and it was fucking great. And Paul directed that, and no notes really. And he was just like, man, I'm just gonna move the camera and just do it again. And then I wanted I remember walking to Dave Shaw, and I'm like, I know I'm on a tight on Ben. Let me go one more. I want to make this like an exclamation fucking point that this is never going to come back from this moment.
You know the difference between you and me? I'd rather come home in a fucking box than do what you're doing right now. Remember that. And you will.
So I added that line. You know the difference between you and I, don't you? I'd rather come home in a fucking box than do what you're doing right now.
Yes. You came up with that on the fly?
Yeah.
There that day. Oh man.
And so Rafe, Hop was like, he goes down his ladder, right? And we're shooting live location on this fucking boat on the water. And he's going down the ladder. And the camera's on me, and I think maybe a wide on him. And I didn't tell him it was coming, obviously. And he stopped on the ladder. And he looks at me. And he was like, I say the line, and he said, like, he improv back, and you will, which is fucking heavy. And so Paul calls cut, and Hop just looks at me and he goes, oh my God, mate, that cut me hard. He's like, I feel terrible leaving you now. And I'm like, that's the point, mate. And so then we had to reshoot his coverage to get his line of "and you will." But we felt great. I remember Hop's dad was there that night, which was really cool for him to come watch a big scene. That's such a pivotal scene in the series.
Reese was wrong about you. The road ends here for me, brother.
And then that led to, we had this Charlie platoon. Pratt was Alpha. We were Charlie. And then that led to that scene in the morning where I'm like, welcome to Charlie platoon, or what the fuck is left of it.
Welcome to Charlie platoon. Or what's left of it.
There's 3 of us left, me, Dar, and Hemsworth. There you go.
Got it right there. Yeah, word today.
So me, Dar, Hemsworth, and Hop are on a feed. And sometimes if something good or bad or funny, we'll just put Charlie platoon. Yeah, so we had such a great time, man. All of us just got so close. Everyone I think what we were talking about earlier of just pulling your weight, right? Of just everyone coming in, guns a-blazing, and trying to reach the full potential of this stuff. And Shazi and you and Dave and Paul and Toy, everyone we're just so supportive in us pushing and pushing. I mean, we can go into that airplane sequence, which is iconic to me.
Yes.
Even a pawn can take down a king.
How did that even work? Like, I wish I was there for that day. I can't believe I was not there for that day. But
you would have been a kid in a candy store.
Oh, so good. And you get to get on the A-dub and go walk A-dub, just taking that, and the internals of everybody just getting shot up.
Yeah.
Seats and like the I guess it's down. I don't know what's in this. And that stuff flying all over the place. It was awesome.
Again, no acting required. You're holding that fucking gun, you pull it out of the trunk. You feel like a rock star, man. You got the sunnies on. You got that little quip that he had as he's going to the plane. Something about you could have asked for more money, or Americans, you're turning on your own country, something like that. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to kill you. I am going to put you down.
Thank you.
American. Selling out your country. Your price should have been much higher.
Fuck.
Then we have the scene in the car where we find on the phone, we get the picture. Shiraz sends the Tall sends the pic to all of us. And then he says, what do you want to do, to Ben?
Shepard's alive? What the fuck does that mean? Fucker. We now know who played us.
Man, and then it's just like less words is more at that point. Less is more. And it was like, you know what to do. We're going to fucking hammer these guys. And he pulls that gun out of, I just got chills. He pulls that gun out of the trunk. And just lights it up. It's like, it's one thing when you read it, of like, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. And then how's this really going to work? And then when we're on the day, you're like, oh, God damn. These guys, they're like fish in a barrel. Literally, Hemsworth says that, but
fish in a fucking barrel.
And so I reached out to a Delta Force buddy and I'm like, how would you stop a plane like this? You know? And like we have it, I think the first script just said tires or something. And I'm like, I don't think that's, and so I talked to him about tires, engine, pilots, depending on, you know, what your and so we all got that in there. So that's the way you stop one of those planes.
Unreal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. And then I remember like the first couple takes, it worked. That gun worked great. And you really have to keep it tight to your chest. And then I remember it jamming a bunch, and you got to just keep going, right? Because he does the switch. He goes to the M4, he puts it down on the tarmac, goes to the M4. This is a good moment. So it jams, whatever. You got to go through it, put it down, grab the M4, and we're supposed to cut. And then we're going to pick up us getting to the plane. No one cut. No one called cut because Kenny ACAM was still with us on the steady, and he's starting to go on a tight into a little 3-shot of us at the plane. And I'm like, shit, we never I don't know how to like clear this door. I don't know like what we're doing. Like we never walked this with Shazi. So I peel and I just started to tell Hemsworth what to do. And we just kept shooting it. And I think that wide shot of us peeling and that line stayed in. You're just instinctually, I don't even know if it's fucking right, but I'm like, this is kind of what I would do.
Look right to me. Look right to
me. Oh, I guess all that training and the pounding of your head of like, do it right, pays dividends.
Hold on the door. I mean,
I held the door. And then I told Hemsworth. Yeah, and then like silly shit of like, okay, how do we open this door to this jet? Like, where the fuck is the handle? Yeah. Like, and then I'm like telling Hemsworth to get on it, and he's like staying in character, trying to find the handle. And then we cut, and then I look over to Shazi. I'm like, "How was that?" And he's like, "Dude, it kind of looked great." And so, happy happy surprises, I guess, mistakes, if you want to call it that. And then we went in there, and there's little moments of like him pulling the sunglasses off because it genuinely was too dark for me to see. So I just improv that. I remember it being, because we're shooting obviously on the tarmac, that was so fucking hot. Like we had people passing out or like heat stroke and stuff. That was just, I remember like fine shade in between those kind of beats. And we are so grateful to do it in the hangar, that scene before we take the plane out, because we had shade. Yeah, little things.
Crazy. It's interesting you mentioned something. I haven't thought about this. Almost. I must have thought about it more than 2 decades. But in Najaf, Iraq, 2004 August, it was like an 11-day gunfight essentially.
Wow.
So we're through the streets and pushing the Jaish al-Mahdi militia back block by block with Abrams tanks and all. But it's summer, daytime and nighttime. But during the day when you're moving, you are in these gunfights. And I remember this. I remember going into rooms, having my sunglasses on, having my gaiters on, and then going into these rooms and having it be dark in there, being like, oh shit, like having to like push them down,
shit.
going right back outside and being like, oh shit, So it was like a thing going in and out. I don't know if
Man, that validates my choice so much.
Seriously,
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, in real life, it was a thing. Certainly. And I remember coming back and because I wrote up a bunch of lessons learned from it. And I don't know if I came up with a solution or what I think I did, but I just can't recall what it was right now. But it was a thing going into dark. Everything was bombed out and I don't think there's electricity anywhere. And we go into these dark kind of, not just rooms, but buildings. And clear back out into the streets in the blazing sun of August, Iraq, which was like 120 some degrees.
God.
So it was, it was a
and
thing.
Also like on the acting front, camera front, it's like everything is in your eyes, right? Everything that happens to these characters. If I had Sonny's in that beat after I cut that guy's arm off, you don't have that beat.
Yeah.
You're not doing the push in on Ben's eyes because that's where it all happened. So that was another, I guess, a happy mistake, if you want to call it that. But it was like, yeah, that scene wouldn't have happened, or the aftermath, if I didn't throw those sunnies off.
Interesting. I remember that in 1993, In the Line of Fire, Clint Eastwood, when he's talking to Rene Russo about why he's the only Secret Service agent that doesn't wear sunglasses because he wants people to see his eyes.
Really?
Or also, maybe he wants the audience to see his eyes.
Yeah.
That's a possibility too. I hadn't thought about that till just now.
Yeah, I mean, you look badass with the gun, the fucking on the tarmac shooting it with the sunnies, but it was a good call. I love those little beats of just doing the security rounds, walking down that plane, and then of course, goddamn, one of my favorite moments is cutting that hand off and that guy gurgling and shooting, knowing the phone is still listening, shooting his wrist, cutting it. And then a hugely important moment, and I give credit to Paul, director, of it's always repercussion to a scene, right? or an action. And that of like Ben, it took me back to the Jaburi moment of like Ben's kind of frozen staring at Jaburi after he puts one in him, of like that's what evil is, right? And then it cut to the plane and that push in on Ben of just staring at that guy, of like, to Ben's whole point, his whole mission through both seasons, but especially Dark Wolf, is like, I'm ridding evil, man. One guy at a fucking time. I'm pushing through at whatever cost. And that was just a beautiful moment for Ben, selfishly, that was like, I'm fucking got rid of a guy that is gonna do a lot of bad shit, and he has already. So the repercussion of that action was awesome to capture.
That's such a good scene. I mean,
I loved it.
What? Like, I don't think I've ever seen one like that before. I
Me
mean,
neither.
I've never seen anybody. I've never seen one like the bullets go through like that, the way it was filmed, and then never saw somebody walk through doing the right things by putting security rounds in people that could still be threats, and then shooting through. And I had to go. I remember walking because we're like, how are we going to do that?
Yeah.
Like, shoot first, and then cut it with the
Yeah.
and I remember pitching that they're like, I don't know. They're like, I don't know if they're going to let us do that. That's pretty brutal. And I don't think anybody ever raised it as an issue.
And then credit to Bridget, who did the hand and the wrist, and she's behind him with a pump. Kenny and Bridget with a blood pump, so the blood comes out of the wrist and through the bones.
That was awesome.
You see the bones, but yeah. So when you're doing those scenes, it's so fucking crowded, right? You're in this little plane, and you got makeup with the blood pump, you got camera crew, you got everybody in there, all the dead people in there. So it can be quite technical, but that scene was a super memorable one. And then even Hop, I remember being like, God damn it, I wish I was a part of that one.
Yeah. He's an Overwatch.
Yeah. Which was a great moment that we all talked about too, of throwing him in there.
Fair winds, brother.
Yeah, that was a long meeting about that. Remember that? And that was I don't want to say contentious, but there was a lot of feelings around
how
to handle that one. And then we came up with having them on Overwatch.
Yeah, I think it worked great. It's that Brotherhood.
Yeah, I think that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh man, awesome. And then we roll into finale.
Yeah.
And you have that. I mean, that's a good explosion that we have in that.
Oh
house.
my God.
Real explosion.
Yeah, that was incredible. Got the farm. And I remember, again, going through that collaborative process of like kind of milking what it is to survive off grid. Like being in Montana, Utah, it's like you're always kind of like, all right, when I'm hiking or tracking wolves, or like, what would happen if I have to actually be off grid or shit hits the fan, or like, it goes through my mind, right? But it's like, what would that look like being a SEAL off grid? And I love like the underwear generator moment.
I know.
Of like, how
was that your idea? Was the underwear your idea?
Yeah.
Yes.
And a little bit of our dark humor, of course. But it's like, how does Ben start waking up? Like, what's a full day look like?
The bureaucrats, trapped by their own intellectual inertia, not even realizing it.
And that's where that came through. Like, even the rainwater thing wasn't written. Maybe it was, but it's just like, I do love watching that kind of stuff of how he like survived out there. From the generator, his morning coffee, having a dart on the fucking patio, the rainwater, putting the IED in the fucking drive. Like, that was sick. him
Yeah.
working all the in the cabin, getting the bomb set. Like, I love that. I can watch that for fucking half an episode, seeing someone like their mind working and planning.
Yeah.
And then the digging. And then, of course, I don't know how many fucking guys showed up. 30 guys went after Ben.
Right.
And again, it was a big thing to root it of like, he probably wouldn't survive, you know? If it's a different kind of show, it's like I would have taken everybody out and stood in the middle of the field at sundown, reloaded, and walked back into the cabin and had a beer. Yeah, yeah. Like, but like we root it, you know? And I think that's a beautiful part of the show of like, okay, let's really practically see how this would happen, of how he gets shot, going to that hide that he made on the side of the mountain. And then, of course, I got fucking chills every time I saw it in the show when the team Alpha comes in. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was the way to go. I remember because that's me and Dave and I wrote that one.
Yeah,
and
you had a massive part in that.
Well, we had multiple iterations of it
Yeah.
as well. And because originally I had it, you know, when you're months away from it, and I'm thinking he'll be on the BMW, and we're going to show him like driving through Europe up into like Norway or Finland or Sweden or something like that, like way up on the coast in a remote fishing village. And he's even farther out than that. But he's like, you know, now he's like the fisherman, or he's like the you know, and that's where it happens up there. And they're like, we don't have a budget for that.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, that's next. Well, next, how about this? I wrote that thing so many times and so then I'm like, all right, let's make this like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I remember that.
This is before the idea of having the whole team come in, and I was like, all right, I want to have he's out there, he's off grid. So what does that mean? Oh, it's like World War I. We're kind of like we're up like, how about he digs trenches and he digs this? He's working out, but he's also prepping the battlefield and he's digging these trenches. And he has high ground and he has this whole thing planned out. So when the bad guys come, you have the IEDs go off, you have this whole thing, but you're disappearing into the trenches and then popping up and like stabbing people. And then
we were going to kill you, remember? I was going to bring you into the trench.
That's right. I was going to get drugged into the trench. That would have been awesome. And I wanted to have a trench gun because I was like, we got to have a shotgun. So I had this trench gun, World War I, with a bayonet on it. And I'm like, you can pop up and you can like shoot people. But then also, if shotgun have this bayonet on there and like stab them and pull them into the thing with you. And
I remember that.
And then they're like, yeah, we can't dig a trench.
This is a 40-day shoot now. We can't do this.
Exactly. I had this whole thing. And then I was going to have you get all like shot up like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid at the end. And Pratt comes to help you. And then he gets all shot up too, kind of thing. You know, it's not that I had this whole Butch Cassidy thing. And then like, no, it's not. We're not going to do that. And then the idea to have the whole team come. I'm like, oh, of course, that's the right answer.
Yeah. You got to romanticize this shit once in a while.
Yeah.
God.
Because of what happens, obviously, in Terminalist season 1, you know, we have like the reverse thing coming in. Now this team is saving you.
Yeah.
Saving you is James Reese. And so it worked out the way it's supposed to work out. But that's the whole iteration. Going from, you know, up north and this whole through there. Of course, I
a $500 million budget with a 200-day shoot.
Exactly. Yeah. But the way it ended up was awesome. I love how this thing.
Yeah, very personal too.
That was fantastic. Oh man!
And of course, we can't forget Haverford's last scene. Wisdom fucking killing it.
I've watched you. There ain't a bridge you won't burn, a rule you won't break, or a command you won't question to get what you know is right. You and I are the fucking same.
That was awesome.
Yeah. Man, we came in day off because we all knew the stakes of that scene and just sat and talked that through for like 3 hours of that scene on the Sunday, I think, at that house, and just working that out so we could fly on the day and not worry about so much gets too talky in between takes. But Haverford was on fire that day. Last scene, he pitcher wrapped that day. I remember ended on such a great note. And I remember our take of like what it means to put him down and what it means to keep him alive.
Right.
And I kind of, to be honest, I flipped, but Ben is on such a fucking path of killing people through the whole season that what that meant to keep him alive, and it would torture him so much longer, and the legacy is gone, and what prison would mean to him and his family just held way more water. So I think we did that one right too. But he was great in that scene.
Yeah, and that one went back and forth on that one too. And then I remember it was like, hey, no, this is Ben and what's to benefy it, but in a different way.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool.
Yeah, and getting back on his bike.
Get on the bike, exactly. Yeah, buddy. Oh man.
Leave him with his scotch.
Yeah, exactly. That was gosh, it took so long, especially that last one. It took so long because so many things changed throughout the season as you're going, and you get to know the character better and the characters in this case better and how they, so it's wild from that first month of shooting to the last month of shooting, how much changes in these
Oh my God. And it goes back to the point of like all these other supporting guys, characters, Ronald Lee, everybody, Hemsworth, Hop, Dar, Tall. When you're getting your moment to flex and do what you do best, it's like when Haverford gets that monologue in that moment, that was really well written. Everyone killed it, man. Everyone took the reins, and it was great. It's just like, on those days, it's a different tone on set. It's a big scene, and he flew, man. He was killing it. So credit to Wisdom.
So great. He's awesome. He's awesome.
But instead, I took a job with Ground Branch.
Contracting with the agency now.
Yep. Green Badger. Guy I work for is solid, though. Vic Rodriguez, former 7th Group.
He an officer.
One of the good ones, though.
They all are, right?
Pablo at the end coming in, and final boat scene in there. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. A great teaser carrot, really well written. And I think too, it's going against the grain of like, you never want it to just be like, okay, Ben's just gonna go back. He like has the thirst for it. It's like a process for Ben. And he's just been banged up emotionally and physically that it's not even a question in that scene. I love that. And he did a great job, man, coming in. And it's not easy. You're fucking flying to Europe. You got jet lag. You're in on this big show, and it's tough. So you give him all the credit. I don't want to do that kind of shit. Like, just like create a character in 2 weeks, fly across the world.
I think it might have been less. Like,
man, that's tough. So it was great. That was a great day too.
Yeah, that was fun. And then he pulls up in his truck also.
Separately
doing that. I love those back and forths. And there's so much great stuff there, and you have to pick like one of those back and forth. And you had so many different ones, slight variations, and the one we landed on, great ones.
It's a boat. It's a boat. You finally pay off that piece of shit?
Nah, I had to refinance. Nice ship.
Yeah, she's a boat.
Does she float?
It's a boat.
Permission to come aboard then, Captain.
Oh, yeah. All those ones. There's so many variations of it.
I know. And of course, tying it into season 1 with the boat, him fixing it up, and that was really smart. That was fun.
We had different endings all the way up till just a couple weeks out because we didn't know there's budget stuff, and we had it starting with waves in the for a while. Got to edits. I think we still had that wave sequence up until we got to edits, and then the waves went away, and then came a little background on Mazul.
Which was great.
that stuff.
It's
But
like sneaking expedition in, but pushing story with the Mosul stuff of like using that true footage.
setting it up,
That was
set.
great.
But the ending, like one of the original endings was we're gonna get Vic in there, like as an
Yeah,
actor, and then we couldn't find a Vic.
on the
And so
beach.
what do we do? Yeah, on a beach and had you
Yeah,
in Coronado. And so I wrote one up in Coronado and you looking and there's the fence and there's Buds and you're on this
yeah,
side. You have your board there, a little bit of like Point Break type of a situation, waiting for your set, and then Vic comes up and that's why Miguel's is still in there because Miguel's is a Coronado
yeah, of course.
Mexican food place. And I just
Of
kept it in
course.
there. For where we actually ended up doing it, which is Virginia Beach. I think it's Virginia Beach at the end where we have you, even though it was Budapest.
Yeah.
If you change your mind.
But yeah, I think where we landed with that one is really cool.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It turned out great. And then the lie detector stuff was fucking awesome. Fred directed that, and I'm always pushing, as you know, in all our meetings at Four Seasons in Budapest when we're having our writer meetings and stuff of just like, where is the emotion lie? Where is Ben emotionally? And I think why people reacted the way they did was you do humanize these guys from obviously starting with that decision with Al Jabari to losing the trident and then the repercussion of that.
Did you kill Hamid al-Jabari in Iraq?
Yes. He was a cancer that needed to be removed.
And you see the toll that it took on Ben to lose Ronald Lee, to his team, to obviously his family. So I love those moments, as I've said, but that lie detector and to go through the whole season of what has happened to Ben.
Were you and your team responsible for the death of German intelligence officers?
Yes.
The fight. It's no longer in front of you. It's raging inside of you.
You and I are the same.
In this life, this is the only work we know. The only place on earth we belong.
And then lie detector at the end. We also went through iterations of how that part ends. And I forget what some of them were right now, but we started with the lie detector and then we went, what about this? What about this? What about this? And then we came back to it.
Yeah.
And I think because of you, I think you were a proponent of the lie detector
Yeah.
thing. Time.
I loved it. There's a stillness, right? Because it's so frenetic, and obviously that 25-minute farm sequence is crazy, and the stillness of that was just really important to me, and going through those beats that mattered to him that kind of chipped away at his metal. So I loved it. And those questions too, hard-hitting questions, real questions, and the repercussion to it. So I thought that was just a beautiful nod to service and the repercussion of it. But yeah, that was the way to do it.
And I just remember this now. You have a flashback in there of me getting killed again. And
Yeah.
if people blinked, they missed it.
Yeah.
The flashback because now it's like a black and white or sepia tone or whatever.
Yeah,
But I get shot again there, and I remember that because I had to sign something because it was in another. Now I'm in another episode.
Yeah.
My $500 of stunt pay that day.
Yeah.
I signed that back. So wolf tattoo from the first season. Like that was a you thing also,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How does that work? Did they I know Max is heavily involved in the tattoo.
Yeah.
But did you then because how did the wolf get in there in season 1 of Terminal List?
think I was just egomaniacal on that. I think I
That's
just,
you already tracking wolves and taking the photo.
And I love wolves. So I was like, man, if any character in the show is going to have something like that, and I do love his tats, it takes a lot of sleep away because it's another hour in the chair every day. And I don't even want to add up how much sleep you lose by having those tats, but they're worth it, man. It's really a signature of Ben. And I have some amazing ideas for Dark Wolf 2 regarding some of the tats and how he got them.
Everybody gets their tats and has traditionally gotten tats if we film in that location, even if it's somewhere else, but supposed to be in that talked about. It is a place for tattoos.
Yes.
Any team guy that passed through, I barely. That was the only time that I almost got a tattoo in the SEAL teams.
Oh my God!
In that place, I don't know.
What was it going to be?
I was gonna do 2, and I was gonna do. And this is when I was like in the Philippines. Like there's not that much going on, but I'm just hitting it hard every day. I built this range, this island that I was on for 6 months, and so I was shooting, working out every day. I was with mostly Army Special Forces guys, actually on that island, more Army Special Forces than SEALs, and I was like, all right, this is my time to do it. I'm like yoked up. I'm still young enough. I'm like, and then it was going to be Bone Frog, like on this bicep, and then Molan Labe in here. So they come and take them, like come and take them, like, lay down your arms. And so I went and I had them put on. I had to go to
stencil.
Actually, yeah. So I had it stencil. I went to go to the city to go to the embassy for something. So I had to fly up north to this embassy, and while I was there, it's more city than where I was, and because I was just in the middle of nowhere on this little island. And so I had the stencil thing put on or whatever that's called. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back. I'm going to show my wife. And so I've got on a Zoom or whatever the
big mistake. Big mistake.
Well, here's the thing. She played this. It was genius because I was like, if she loves it, I'm getting them. If she hates it, I'm getting them. Like one way, I'm 100% going back and getting these things, like 100% in my mind. And we're talking, whatever. And then I lean back in my chair and I'm like this. Boom, and I was just like yoked at the time.
The reveal.
I was like the reveal. I was like 225, but like just ripped 220, like big, like too big, like definitely like not, But it looked like anyway. So I did laying back in the chair. She's like, "What's that on your arms?" And I was like, "Oh, there's the tats I just got." And she's like, "No, all right." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Nothing." She's like, "Yeah, fine." I was like, you don't love him, you don't hate him. She's like, "No." Like
indifferent. She's indifferent.
She hit me with the indifference, and
the worst.
I'm not done. Didn't even do it. But that was the closest I ever got. So hopefully, if we film in that location or someplace near there that's supposed to be that location for season 2, it'll be a perfect place for Ben to add some ink.
I told you that opening idea I have. I won't.
Yes. Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
I think about it all the time, but I'm kind of married to it. We'll see I haven't pitched it to Dave, but I love that idea of picking Ben up in that spot. Yeah, and that would be a great place for the tat to come into play. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I love his tats. So the wolf was me. The stars was Max, clock, the flag, Max and I. And then Fuqua was really adamant on the knuckle tats, hold fast. And then I only want to bitch about them because sometimes I'll put my hands in my pockets, whatever, right? If it's gun work, whatever it is, everything's always touching your hands. So the reset on these fucking tats in between takes to they're falling off to it's just so much time and energy because they're always just rubbing off.
Yeah.
And then you got makeup coming over and they're like, "Hey, can you not put your hands in your pockets in this scene?" I'm like, "Ugh, I'm going to kill everyone." So that was like
having a Dark Wolf though, right?
No, just because I didn't want him, and then we're so far back that there's time for him to get him. But And correct me if I'm wrong, you can't have hand tats while you're still in the teams. It's something like hand and
There was an actual rule, and it wasn't really enforced. Like I think there were some very strict rules on them that no one enforced until they did,
okay.
and then I think now it was back. So I think it was sleeves though. I
Yeah,
can't
maybe
remember.
I made that up because I'm like, I didn't want them when I was in Dark Wolf.
You just say it like you know what you're talking about, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But it's possible. It's possible no hand ones. That does probably make sense. I don't think I really saw many or any in
Yeah,
the.
I still don't see many.
Yeah, I don't think so. I thought see wedding rings put on there sometimes.
Yeah.
Then the guys have to take them off and then put them back. Just kidding. Most yeah, that was a reference to a lot of divorces in the teams.
Yeah, 90% divorce rate.
Like that. That's what
I
that's
think
what
it's like the highest of any profession.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's
So
a tough living, man. I get it.
for any SEALs listening, maybe don't get the ring tattoo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or the hand ones.
Yeah,
Anything
yeah.
on your
Yeah,
hand.
maybe you want to look that up. Might want to look that up.
Yeah.
I'm a little dated on it. But yeah, the tattoo. And then how did we come up with Dark Wolf as the title?
Oh, Dave had sent me the breakdown of the season of Ben's season, and it was light and dark wolf of like which one you feed, and then he sent me two titles, and obviously one was Dark Wolf, and then I honestly
When was Dark Wolf already? Because there was a working title for a long time that wasn't Dark Wolf.
yeah, there's a different iteration of it, and I obviously leaned into the Dark Wolf one, so my vote was 100% Dark Wolf. I can't even remember what the other one was. I could look it up.
I won't say it because then people will always ask.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It wasn't near as fucking good, I'll tell you that.
No, it wasn't. It was the Dark Wolf is perfect for this show and the character. But I thought you came up with it because once you see a title for so long, it's a working title. You kind of just become even like a working name that you think you're going to change later.
Yeah.
As you start working with things, it becomes like in the books. I have a working name. Like I need to change this later, and then I get to know the character as that name over months and months and months, and then a lot of times it just stays.
Yeah, you get married to it.
Yeah, but it's not like because for any other reason other than that you got to know a character with this name. So I swear that the Dark Wolf title came from you. Maybe it came from Pratt because I don't know. I don't think it came from me or Dave, but I might be wrong. I'll have to.
Yeah, I have to look back on that too. I just know I was adamant about Dark Wolf.
I think as soon as I heard it, I was like, "Yep,
yeah,
perfect."
Even when the first script came in, it had Dark Wolf under it.
Because there's early ones that don't have before you saw them, then that have the other
yeah.
So in the outline phase, I guess. Before we get to the scripts, and then did you have a toughest scene to film or a most fun scene to film? Or
once I got that, I think you're always stressed out that you want to just get it and reach the full potential of the scene. I love that scene with the CIA. We're losing it at him. And even the scene right after in the hallway, where the fuck were you? That one hit hard.
That's great.
Where the fuck were you?
Action-wise? Ooh, action-wise. Damn. There's so many fun ones. The Oneer was tough. The toughest, probably.
Also because your foot was all jacked up.
Yeah, and also if I fuck up, Rona fucks up, Hop, Hemsworth, Mo, anyone fucks up, you're starting again. So technically, everyone had to be on point.
Especially the guy that gets out of the car and gets shot by Luke.
Yeah.
Pivotal.
That's what I was talking about. The plane one was pretty great, man. Because once I saw it actually kind of unfolding in front of us, we're like, wow, this is sick. And doing it with Dar and Hemsworth was a blast. Great guys. Yeah, and we're all slinging on the fly, too. Of like, Shazi walked us through it of like how we're going to do it, bounding or how we're going to do this. And you show us once and we just got it. So that was like, it's not It was great that way, that everyone was on the same page. Toughest scene. It's always the emotional ones, but I've been playing Ben so long, it feels pretty dialed. Not that you go in cocky, but like the scene at the end with the lie detector, you know, that meant a lot to me to show, to humanize it. That's really important. Yeah, it would probably be the hostel was no joke either, man. That was a lot of fun. And I think that's the beauty too. We're showing so many ways these guys are fighting in these little hostels, room to room. Then you're on a fucking tarmac, you're in the tunnels, you're on a fucking subway. Like that was sick. A great moment that I think surprised a lot of people, especially the way we play it, and like sitting down with the girl walking through, and now it's just mono, which is cool. Yeah, so many good beats. Damn.
So good, so good. And then what ask you about Ben and accountability, like this character accountability, what it leadership means to him, like this whole he's just such a unique character when we look at SEAL characters because there are a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
Ben is different, and wouldn't be with another actor's hands, that's for sure. You made this character,
Yeah, thanks.
and it's just incredible to watch. And like I said, I wish I'd written him this well of an opinion.
Yeah.
I'll chalk it up to my friend.
Yeah.
Reasons he does what he does. I didn't have those in the book, and they're so much better in the show. And the way you articulate that to Reese at the end of your final scene in the Terminal List season 1. But yeah, what is that? What is the character as far as when it comes to accountability and leadership and playing this character? Like,
Yeah, I think, and it was really well written, and Hop you give credit to, of just being like the lighter wolf or the more online wolf, the voice of reason. But that's the beauty of this. It's just war is just so gray. And I think Ben is so myopic in his choices. And I think it's the fire chopping scene where I do talk about the semantics and that kind of stuff and the paperwork. But he's also like, we're making a fucking difference. Like, think about it. Like, we're pushing forward at a cost, but this is all worth it. Like, we're pushing forward and doing and making a difference. We're taking down terrible people, mate. So biasly, of course, it's a beautifully tragic thing that we're exploring. And I think that's why Ben, he's getting results. Like, I think he would have listened a lot more if innocent people were dying and I'm not pushing forward or moving the envelope at all, So I think result oriented, I'm fucking going to keep driving forward at the cost of myself and my teammates, and that's how myopic he's getting. He's clouded, but it's working argumentatively, So, and I had people be like, man, I'm so with Hopper. I would have fucking left you too.
Really?
Yeah, totally. It's like, and Hop is going through his own shit, right? So, in the cabin, a friendly doing that, he's really more conscious of the cost. And I think the beauty of Ben is he's got to have the blinders on until he doesn't, which is the lie detector test, the moment where Reese saves him, that he is in over his head in a way, and what the team means to him. There's that scene at the bridge, right? There's a duplicity there. And I don't know if people or the way I play it or whatever, if you see it or not, but I put the team in front of me and I'm like, he's like, is that why you want to go get Denali? Fuck yeah. For Reese, for the boys, for you. And it's like, there's a duplicitous moment there of like, of course I'm selfishly want to fucking take this guy down for what he did to my translator and the family and that, but also I'm putting the team in front of Hop, of like, it ain't just about me, but really in a way it kind of is.
He wants to bring us to Denali. We have a chance to bury this motherfucker, then I'm in. I couldn't live with myself if he walks. You find out Reeser and the boys get shot up downrange.
Is that why you're doing this? For Reese?
Fucking A-right. For Reeser, the boys, me, you too.
So he's smart that way of putting the team and Reese and the boys and himself in front of that decision. I think that's what pushes Hop into joining me, at least for Denawi. But we got Denawi, man. So fuck. I was right. You know, he's a great actor, that guy. He was great. Everyone was great, but yeah. So the accountability, I do love that Ben is accountable and he stays the course. And he does uncover Haverford through that at the cost of himself and obviously teammates and that kind of stuff. But that's what it's about, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I know this book. This is the third time you've given me this.
That's right. It's one of the most significant books on military leadership ever written. And I want you to fucking read it.
I will. Thank you, Reeser.
Did you know that, I don't know if you saw this or not, Once an Eagle went to #2. It's a book from 1968. It went to #2 on Amazon under like military.
No way.
The military history or something. Yeah, I screenshotted it.
Holy shit.
Because you holding that thing and
wow.
All that stuff. So that's pretty cool. And that's something I used to give to guys as they're starting off there.
Yeah.
I'd give that to them. And I had a letter in the front and a letter in the back. So
no way. Beautiful, man.
Yeah, the first letter would say like, "This is why I'm giving you this book," and then that letter would say, "Hey, but there's also a second letter. It's at the back. It's in a sealed envelope. You can't read that one until you finish reading this thing because it's a thick book."
Yeah, it's huge.
It's like a doorstop or a blunt.
Can you tell me tidbits of what the sealed letter said?
I'll tell you offline because I think what I asked my agent on her plate right now is to see if you can reprint this book, reprint it, and put my
no way
my letter in the front as a forward and then an afterword.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's
beautiful.
Cool. I think it's been out of print for a number of years now, so it'd be cool to get that back going again. And
how did you come across that book?
I was given it by an Army Special Forces Vietnam veteran from Project Delta, which I mentioned in Cry Havoc, from in Vietnam era. And,
wow.
Years and years
and
ago.
that had an influence on him as well.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah, it's historical fiction, so it follows two guys from right before World War I up to Vietnam. And
wow, beautiful.
The whole lesson of the whole book is to see to your character and your reputation will take care of itself. Like that's
beautiful. That's life shit, not just war too.
Exactly. It's
really
leadership, it's life, it's family, it's all these things. But I have this kind of take on it that I don't think most people have that I put in that letter at the end. And so anyway, I tell them in the letter in the front, you got to get through the whole book. Yeah. Then you can open my letter to you in the back and you can see my take on it. So I'm not poisoning your reading experience. Interpretation of what you're going to read ahead of time. I give you the why in the first letter, and then I give you my interpretation.
Beautiful, man. Did you get a lot of feedback from that when you? Yeah, great.
Appreciate it.
Like you don't know what you're talking about. This book was shit. This is all shit.
I haven't got that yet. But, I think the gift of a book, a timepiece, and a weapon are those like the three things that are so primal and are so I don't know. So it takes some thought. You don't just like buy a knife and give it to somebody. You don't just buy a pistol and give it to somebody. You just buy a random book and give it to somebody. You just buy a watch and give it to somebody. Like they mean something. Like why? It's like watch from.
And that stuff stays with you and means something different throughout your life in different chapters.
Yeah,
truly.
Favorite books. I have these top 5 that I talk about. Once an Eagle is one of them. Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged. Remembrance. Like those, they mean different things to you at different points in your life.
Totally.
It's I got to revisit some of them. I'm probably about due for a reread.
You do.
I come up for air, but it's cool to see it because of you. This book is going to #2 on Amazon.
Wow.
They're getting exposed to these leadership and life lessons in those pages. which is pretty cool. So
That's really cool.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
And we got to hit
Bigfoot's
the
dick.
premiere.
Who knew Bigfoot's dick would have such
The
a
scale.
positive
To scale. Yeah. So cool. So cool. Well, thank you again for, the dedication to this role. Everything you bring to
man.
that. The only reason there's a Dark Wolf is because of you. No other actor could have brought what you brought to this character. It's so amazing to see this dedication.
Thanks, man.
Work is, it's truly special. So
Thanks.
Thank you for your life and thanks for your friendship. And hopefully we'll hit the road soon.
Yeah, likewise, brother.
Awesome. You take care. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, man. Later.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dark Wolf Season 1 podcast. If you like this video, check out The Fourth Option, my upcoming novel, May 12th, coming in hot, hardcover ebook and audiobook. Find the trailer here and the author insight video here.